Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 17 of Nature with You. I am your host, Abby. Today, I will be interviewing my friend, Jason.
Hi everyone, my name is Jason Zubras, and I'm currently an environmental professional who is also getting his master's degree in environmental systems at the University of Pennsylvania. I'm extremely passionate about our water resources and how our interactions with them really shape us, because the water really shaped me. And on this pod, I'm going to hopefully tell you guys about all of that. So I hope you enjoy.
Where do you feel most connected to nature?
I would say that I feel the most connected to nature where I really kind of all began. Like, I focused so much of my career and just my honest personal enjoyment around water. So anywhere near the water, on the water, I feel the closest to nature. Just anything that come up to me too, that for some reason, that body of water, I just feel grounded. I feel like a sense of purpose that comes from it.
Picture being there. What do you see? What do you feel?
It's not really an understanding, but it's kind of like a synergy, like a peace that comes from it. Like, it just, you feel like you're a part of that system. And just like, I like to understand from a technical aspect, like understanding all the moving parts to it. So like where the water's been, where it's going, it's the basis for everything that we need. For some reason, that brings like a sense of peace that like when I'm by water, one, I've had so many positive memories with it. And I enjoy all the positive things that came from being around water, but also like from just a different aspect of, it's like a sense of curiosity too.
What do you mean by that?
When I like thinking about what's swimming around down there, like thinking about like how everything needs water to survive. I like thinking about the systems when it percolates through the ground, how it comes back up. Well, it really relies on it. For some reason, that like sense of thought brings me like a peace, tranquility, and also I guess maybe opens up that childlike curiosity.
Yeah, I do feel like, I don't know if you feel like this, but sometimes I feel like when we get older, people are less curious about things and just feel like they already know what they know and that's good enough. So I love that there's something that still inspires your childlike curiosity. I think we all need that.
Good for the heart, good for the soul, I think. But being able to think about these things and just have that curiosity just prevents you from being stagnant as a person.
Yeah. Something that I like about water systems is that, I guess it depends what type of water system, but since everything's pretty much flowing and usually flows into each other, it's so connected. Obviously, there are barriers, especially if it's a lake or something. So I do think that's a very symbolic, and I've talked to a lot of people about how water is just so peaceful for them, and there's just this freeness about it, and to the whole systems thinking that you're talking about definitely makes sense.
Yeah, no, even where you're at over on the Gunpowder River over there, it's just, you're seeing the tides, you're seeing, how everything, it's not just the same system, how you have it changing over the year. You'll have water come out, come in, new plants.
Yeah.
All different things running up and down. Mm-hmm. And just, you watch the whole thing change throughout, and it's always changing a little bit every day. And I think that's just, where you live is a really cool spot. Seeing the little tidal system.
Yeah, I'm so glad we've gotten to experience it so closely. And I think we learned, our first year here, we didn't take advantage of being on the water as much, but I think we definitely have this second year. Like, I try to kayak every day, and if Thomas hears a fish jump, he like grabs a pole and goes out and tries to catch whatever it was. And just like sitting in our backyard and just watching everything. We've seen so many birds, even. Obviously, lots of fish talk around here, but...
Oh, absolutely, lots of fish talk.
Yeah, but lots of birds now, too.
Well, I didn't know you guys had kayaks. I thought it was just Mr. Thomas running around like a wild bandit in his little motorized craft.
Yeah, no, we got them. Thomas bought them in November, so we've had them for almost a year. And it just adds a whole nother level because it's like my form of exercise right now. I just try to make it a part of my routine. So I'm definitely getting outside, but also it's not always fun to exercise, so I'm so distracted by things I see that it makes it easier.
Are you a frequent birder? Or do you just enjoy looking at them?
So I recently downloaded Merlin. Do you know what Merlin is?
Yeah, no, I know Merlin.
Because my friend who I interviewed, Megan, for this podcast, she loves Merlin. So I finally downloaded it, and I definitely need to use it more. But I love that you can figure out what you're looking at based off of the calls. Because I'm still at that point where I can't really look at things and just identify them easily. So I love using Merlin.
What is your favorite bird? I need to ask, and then I need to know what your favorite find so far was living where you do.
I would say I do love the herons that we see. I don't know let me see which kind it is, but I love when they take off flying because they look so big. Okay, we've seen little blue heron and great blue heron. So probably great blue heron's my favorite. But I just, like, when they take off, it's just amazing watching their wings support them. And I'm just like, dang, I wish I could ride on your back.
Realize how massive of an animal they are either.
Yeah.
Because they're so sleek when they're going down the shore.
Yeah, they are.
Just out of nowhere. And their call is very distinctive, though. You have typically no problem knowing what you heard.
What's your favorite bird?
I've been on a kingfisher kick recently.
Okay.
They're long, not long necks, like a heron-style neck. They're funny-looking birds, but they're unique. I always see them in unique situations. They're always perched up somewhere, always on the prowl. Oh, hey, what are you doing there?
Do you see them mostly when you're out on the water?
Out on the water, yeah. They like wooded stuff. They like little branches and things. I don't know if this is a good size, but they're like basketball size, maybe a little smaller, like about the size of a football.
What are you doing when you feel most connected to nature?
Oh man, I'm sure you did not see this one coming at all. I am most connected to nature. I'm obviously fishing, and that's something that I've been doing for a long time. And that's how I ended up on this podcast, because I never picked up a fishing rod. I never met the wonderful Thomas on the Nature with You podcast, because that's the one cool thing about fishing is, besides on the nature aspect, is just the amount of people that it's brought me to with like-minded interests.
Yeah. When did you start fishing?
When did I start? Oh gosh, I started, believe it or not, never doing all of this tournament bass fishing mumbo jumbo. I would go when I was like 5 or 6. My dad would take me down to the local state park with a can of corn and rods, and we'd go down and try and catch stock trout with corn.
With corn?
With little corn.
Wow. Did it work?
No, the corn did work. The corn was fun. It was simple, but that just, when you're at that level, you're 5, 6 years old, you're just going out there, you're hoping you get a bite.
Yeah.
You have no idea what's going on, but it's just a really simple way to catch little stock trout. I guess it looks like eggs. I don't know, but they like it. Maybe it's what they feed them in the hatchery. But no, started out from there, and then my pops would take me actually to catch catfish at the local Harvey's Lake. And then I saw the people doing all the fishing tournaments and the bass fishing, and then I started up with that.
So it started off as a father-son thing?
It was the father-son thing, yeah. No, that's nice. That was the big step. And you do little adventures on your own, but I wouldn't have done it if I wasn't just sitting there watching trout eat corn.
Yeah.
That's kind of where I got like the whole sitting there looking at the water, because when you're doing that type of fishing, you're not like trying to target the fish.
Yeah.
You're putting 2 rods out there and you're waiting for something to happen.
and you're watching everything else go around you. And I think that's a much more relaxing version of a just enjoyable version of what's going on.
Then what do you like about competing?
Competing was a whole other ball game. I don't know what happened because I kind of lost myself in the competing world. I was always trying to get, you never really disliked it, but it almost felt not a job, but it felt, I guess you could say it felt like a job.
Okay. Because you felt like you had to perform a certain way.
You had to always perform to a certain level, and that was at the higher levels. But I'm not going to go against that because I do the competition aspect. And the one thing that I really do like about it is the way I look at it as a puzzle.
Yeah.
And when it would stop, the puzzle is you're always trying to not only figure out how to catch the fish, but you're trying to figure out how to catch them just a little better than everybody else.
Yeah.
And I like that part of the puzzle. I like trying to solve the problem. Oh, I understand the ecosystem so well that they are doing this right now. And so that's the part that I like about it, is this trying to understand that puzzle and trying to understand, really just master the environment at that time. And sometimes you lose the track of that. It becomes more, that's the bad side of tournament fishing. It stops being about the puzzle. It starts being about, I guess, more of the spirit of competition, which isn't always a bad thing.
Yeah.
But for me, I just like that place of trying to just figure out those fish a little better than anybody else.
Yeah. Do you feel like competing made it less about having a connection with nature, too?
I would guess so, because you get swallowed up for it. I think I had a year or two where I really didn't care about the connection with nature as much. But I found that again.
Good.
At a later time, and I was just able to really understand why I was doing it. I felt like I was fishing a lot better, too, once I came back to that trying to find that, understand the system. Yeah. And looking at the real big picture of the whole thing. And then you have a couple of those moments too when you realize why you do it in the first place. Not for a competition or not to be better, but just because you love being out there. How
did the being a part of a team aspect help?
I think the one thing of the team aspect that I really loved was just like once I found that spot again, I love teaching fishing. That's something I could do. I love learning something and be like, oh man, you guys should try this. Like I love being able to teach and pass down what I learned to people that are just that I care about, or not even I care about, just anybody really that wants to learn. I like sharing something that gives me just such happiness.
No gatekeeping here.
Well, sometimes. But no, and the whole reality of things is I love how nature and fishing really just exposes you to some of the best things and the best qualities that I think there are in this world. And
which
being
are?
Able to like, which are? Because there's so many. I just feel like having an understanding of your environment and an appreciation for the world around you. And I think that comes from fishing. I think you have to learn how to be a steward of the environment. When you're a good fisherman, you're a steward of the environment. When you're good fishing, you're calm. You are patient. You have to understand the world around you a little bit. And you can't be just so narrowly focused on, I'm just going to go out there and catch this fish, because that won't work.
Yeah.
You need to understand the why to really make it all worthwhile. I think the understanding of the why and just the peace that comes with that is just a really good thing.
Yeah. Do you think the overall culture of bass fishing does promote environmental stewardship, or just more so promote you should get the biggest fish or buy all the things?
I think tournament bass fishing can sometimes be like overwhelming with consumption and toxic. But I think your everyday fisherman, even your everyday bass fisherman, has that connection to nature more than anything else, that outdoorsman approach rather than that tournament mumbo jumbo approach.
Do you have any? Go ahead.
I was just going to say how that's a whole other ball game with the whole idea of consumerism in the outdoors, and I'm sure that could be a big podcast.
Yeah, to me, when I see Thomas have bags and bags of plastics, that it feels like there's a disconnect there. but I don't think the goal is to lose your plastic in the environment anyway, so I don't know. I try to understand, but obviously we all consume in some way, but it is hard to just look at those bins full of plastics.
There is a big thing going on right now, actually, and a lot of these companies are, you're going to see them in the next couple of years, is they're going to enforce biodegradable plastics.
Oh, cool. Okay.
So that is a thing that you're going to start seeing in the next 3 to 5 years in the fishing industry, is everybody's going to be switching to a biodegradable form of material.
That's good to hear.
That breaks down. So that's good to hear.
Does it seem like it'll be more expensive for consumers?
One, it'll be a little more expensive, which already isn't great. And two, only a handful of companies are able to produce that material right now. One of them being Bass Pro Shops. Yikes.
Yeah.
So that's once again a whole other thing, but I like the direction of that because I hate the plastic aspect of things too. Don't get me wrong. You think about the amount, or like even sometimes I'll catch a fish and I'm like, oh, it's down there, and it's a 14-inch worm that started out as 5 inches. You know, feels weird. It feels wrong. Or I'll cast off a lure and it'll go flying into the sunset. Yeah. I'm like, oh, I just added to that. Yeah. And I mean, it's the personal environmental stewardship, and it comes from, this is a really bad way to look at sustainability. Like, if I stopped fishing tomorrow, will anything change? Will the plastic outcome change? Yeah. No, but it's the shift of the culture around it. Mm-hmm. And when you start seeing things like the biodegradable plastics, that's a step in the right direction.
Do you think the community is going to accept it?
I think they will.
Okay.
I think, I'll be honest, I think that eventually there will be legislation on it, just like they have legislation about up in Maine, you can't have lead weights. Yeah. So it'll be a very similar thing to that, and they'll have to accept it. Yeah. It's whether or not the companies that produce these things lobby enough.
Yeah, for sure.
And plus, because there's no small companies that really compete with your major fishing giant retailers. But there are a lot of small businesses and hobbyists for plastics. So I'm interested to see how readily accessible. I think a key ideal of anything sustainable is readily accessible. Yeah. So if I want to make that work, that's something that they got to do.
Yeah, they do.
But it's definitely a step in the right direction. Yeah, I got one last little thing on fishing. Please. I feel like if you are listening to Nature in You and you are worried about doing the right thing with fishing, I think the biggest thing you can do is just go out there and just take it up in a new hobby and look at it from an approach of, I'm trying to figure out the puzzle. And I think that's just a cool way to really get more in touch and appreciate the resource and the environment around you.
Do you currently do anything to share your experiences with or connection to nature, and how do you share?
Ooh, sharing my experiences. I am hopefully going to start, there's an outdoor club. I am a graduate student at the University of Pennsylvania, and last week I had an outdoor club meeting and 10 sustainability meetings. So I'm excited to go out and share my experiences with other people in the environmental field and just compare it with them. And see how their experiences reflect on more of, a professional aspect. But I also try and go back. This weekend, I'm going up to help out with the Penn State fishing team. Oh, yes. They're having a little event, so I'm going to try and take a couple kids out on the boat, take them fishing, try and get them to have a little bit of fun. Yeah. And just understand why I'm batshit passionate about it.
Yeah, understood. How does that help you enhance your connection, your personal connection to nature?
It enhances my personal connection through just seeing it through another lens, I guess you could say. I guess it's almost you're seeing it for the first time, again, when it's through somebody else. And when you get a really good understanding of it, but then you're also just able to take that understanding you have, really simplify it down to its most basic level, and then share it with someone that's willing to learn. Yeah. I think that just brings it's a full circle experience.
Definitely. And I'm curious, what kind of things are you doing in your outdoor club?
My outdoor club, I do not know. It's a bunch of international students that are wanting to go hike around and talk about like green roofs and water usage. Like urban water is a big thing. So like rain gardens, urban infrastructure on those aspects.
So it definitely is a more professional, like you said.
It is a more professional, but they're going to have some outings and such.
Good.
I'm getting in touch with another Philadelphia local group called Friends of the Wissahickon Creek Watershed.
Okay.
And they do like little cleanups and hikes and things like that. I think everybody does a little bit of their part. Mm-hmm. It does make a difference, especially at the community level. No, I was just going to say how important community-based efforts are in the grand scheme of things. You don't have to save the world, but you can save your block.
Yeah.
And if everybody saves their block, you could maybe do a little bit.
And I think that just helps people care more because, that's my backyard. Like getting somebody from Nevada to care about the Chesapeake Bay would be much harder than someone in Pennsylvania.
Exactly.
What is something you want people to know about nature?
I think that people need to know that it's every little thing along the way. The nature isn't just the great outdoors. That nature is your everyday environment and the world you live in. And I think you got to just keep that in mind when you're taking care of your everyday tasks, because we only got so much resource here. We only got so much that's going on. I think that learning to enjoy the little pieces of nature not only keeps it protected, but just helps you appreciate the environment you're in, especially I'm just moving into the city now here, and you're understanding just the whole urban environment. You're understanding that you are in an entirely different system, but there's parks, there's smaller greenery, and how important that small greenery is to just keep things human, I guess.
Do you feel like there's a lot of greenery and green spaces in Philly for you to explore?
In the nicer parts.
Okay.
In the nicer parts. But no, it's getting there. It really is getting there. There's a lot of really good efforts going on, and just seeing like local people involved in those efforts, especially in the not so fun parts of town.
Yeah.
I'm not in the best area, but I'm not the worst area. But even in some rougher patches, there's still abandoned plots or community farming. That's nature. That's an environment. There's little small parks where there's little buildings that fell down. They have them cleared out, turn them into little green spaces.
Nice.
So it's all right. There's ways to get involved.
Yeah.
Always. It's not just, you don't have to be always involved with the great outdoors. You don't have to always be a champion fisherman. You don't always have to be anything crazy.
Yeah.
You just gotta go out there and enjoy it and find one little niche. Find your little niche. Yeah. And run with it.
It sounds like you do have to be more intentional, obviously, to find opportunities, or do you have to walk to places more? I'm spoiled and I could just go right in my backyard, but...
I'm a 5-minute bike ride from the Schuylkill River.
Okay, so you're good.
I got a trail right down there. If I want to bike 10 minutes down the road, I have a park. If I want to bike 10 minutes away, I have a whole little wildlife area.
Yeah.
If I really wanted to go, I'm on Girard Avenue here. I could take Girard all the way down and go to the zoo. I could see some giraffes.
So you bike around the city?
I do try to bike around. I am not in good enough shape yet, but I'm getting there.
How is that experience?
Philly's such a walkable, bikeable city. It's
good.
Not even funny. It's relatively flat. Everything's close. There is, for how old it is, there are a lot of good urban planning aspects.
Yeah, do you even have you probably do have a car, but you probably don't really need a car.
I lock it up. I don't touch it unless I'm driving back to see my folks for the weekend. I won't touch it for a week or two at a time.
I do think it's funny, some people would just freak out if they didn't have a car, or if you told them that you didn't use your car for a week. We're so car-centric.
We're so car culture.
Yeah. I was
And
sitting...
like, I get it. There's a lot of areas where you don't have the infrastructure, you don't have the public transport, you don't have the accessibility where you need it. And that's just a flaw of horrible urban design, horrible just community planning. But where I'm at now, do not need a car.
What do you know about climate change?
I know it's changing.
It's changing.
I know it's changing. It's changing pretty quick.
Uh-huh. What's changing?
What is changing, and this is a huge thing that I focus on in my drive for almost going back to school, was that I've noticed we've had a large uptick in strong weather events. And we have a lot of, so I do a lot of like hydrology, drainage, and we have our infrastructure based off, storms happen, we call them 100-year storms, but that's only just like a percentage of how often a type of storm will come that brings a certain amount of rain.
Wait,
and we're just having
you should
higher
definitely, can you like explain that to
an audience?
Yeah, to an audience.
To an audience, so you'll hear your meteorologist will come on and they will say, this is a 100-year storm event. That's just a different, not that it's going to happen once in 100 years, but that is a 1% chance. So that 1 in 100 storms is that storm. But now we're having, your 100-year storms are going from a 1% to a 10%. We're getting a lot higher rain events and a lot higher frequency. And we just aren't really built for it.
No.
We're not. And with more and more people moving back to cities because of all of the benefits, it is not as expensive. The suburban sprawl has gone insane. People are moving back together into closer environments. A lot of people are going more urban. We have a lot of development around our coasts. And we have a lot of water coming there because we have a lot of impervious surfaces. So more we're having high rain events, we're having more people living to these areas that are susceptible to high water rise, high water environments. We need to adapt in that sense. Is not to be a pessimist. The climate is changing. I don't think we can change it back.
Yeah, I don't think
whether
so.
Whether we argue with me all you want, if it's man-made or natural, it's changing. And we could do all our aspects to reduce our pollution, to reduce our greenhouse gas, to reduce our own environmental impact based off emissions or other things. But at the end of the day, it is changing. We need to focus on our pollution and our overall impact so that we have an area to live.
Do you want to go into more detail about your specific job and how that helps this situation?
So my job right now is I am an environmental assessment, inspector with a construction company called Pinoti. And I basically am going around right now, and I just started this aspect of my job, but I'm going around and doing like green design. I'm going through and going to problem areas. So I'll look at the big picture here. Philadelphia, Lower Merion Township, the stormwater system is around 250 years old.
Okay.
That's how long people lived here. And you have that much infrastructure built up over time. You're not able to redo all your pipes and your drainage and get everything better because you're going to have to dig up the entire city. And that's just really difficult and expensive.
Yeah.
So I'm going around right now and basically identifying problem areas and trying to slow down the amount of water that gets introduced into the system at lower rates through better design. So green spaces, public parks with rain gardens, allowing the water to infiltrate and slow down before it gets into the system so it doesn't get overwhelmed, and implementing those policies and designs into new builds.
What do you think is the biggest obstacle that your company deals with?
As someone who has been doing this for 1 week, and this is something that I've done a lot. I used to do environmental assessments on construction sites long before this. The urban environment is my new thing, but I used to do this on much larger scale, like warehouse jobs and that. And at the end of the day, it's just getting the proper planning at the beginning, getting it all planned out properly. Because once things are in place, it's hard to get a change order. It's hard to get things done. But having the watershed management and the infiltration management
in mind right from the get-go makes things so much easier. And conservation districts actually have a really good idea and just come through and will hammer you and find the heck out of you if you do not do it if you don't do things the right way.
Do you think that's like the only way people will do it the right way?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I think you have to have oversight. I think good oversight makes the world go round. From a long-standing point of climate change, that to the wonderful listeners in Nature with You, is that there's a lot of panic with climate change. You can't panic. Because it's something that's going to end up coming around. You don't want to panic because when you panic, you're uninformed. You want to make yourself informed of the situation. And you want to have a plan, and you just want to do whatever you can do to adapt to what's changing. Because understanding and calmness and collectiveness, and that's how you make the good decisions that are going to basically fix up this little mess we got going on here.
Yeah.
And that's how you have a sustainable future. Is you don't panic, you don't freak out. You keep moving forward, and you think, okay, how can we solve this problem? What's our piece to the puzzle here?
Thank you for listening to this episode. If you're interested in more Nature With You content, feel free to follow me on Instagram at naturewithyou_. You can also follow on Spotify for more episodes or subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you.